Imagine living in a small town where everyone knows your name. Circleville, Ohio, was that kind of place in the mid-1970s. A tight-knit community where neighbors waved hello and people felt safe in their homes. But that sense of safety was shattered in 1976 when a single, sinister letter arrived in the mailbox of Mary Gillespie. Mary was a local school bus driver, a job that made her a familiar face in town. She was known for her warm smile and friendly demeanor. But one day, as she sorted through her mail, she found an envelope with no return address, containing a letter that would change her life forever. The letter accused Mary of having an affair with Gordon Massey, the local school superintendent. It was written in block letters with an uneven, menacing tone. "Stay away from Massey. I know what you've done." Mary was shocked. She denied any affair, insisting she and Gordon were simply co-workers. But the letter writer seemed to know details about Mary's life that few others could. She tried to shrug it off as a cruel prank, but the letters kept coming. Each one more threatening, more personal. "I'm watching you," one letter warned. "I know where you live. If you don't stop, I'll make sure everyone knows." The letter sometimes included details about her family, her children, even her daily routine. It was terrifying. Mary's husband, Ron Gillespie, soon began receiving letters as well. Letters that accused Mary of betrayal and threatened him too. The strain on their marriage was immediate. Ron was a quiet, hard-working man who adored his wife, but the letters planted seeds of doubt. Could there be any truth to the accusations? And who would do something so cruel? Word of the letters began to spread. It turned out Mary wasn't the only target. Other residents of Circleville started receiving similar letters. Some warned of supposed affairs, others threatened to expose secrets or claimed to know about criminal behavior. The entire town was on edge. Imagine living in a place where you couldn't trust your own mailbox, where every letter might contain a threat or a lie. That's what Circleville became, a town held hostage by an anonymous writer. Ron decided he had to protect his family. He told a few close friends and even some law enforcement officers about the letters, but the writer remained elusive. On August 19, 1977, Ron received a phone call. No one knows what was said, but Ron was visibly upset. He grabbed his gun and left the house, telling his daughter he was going to confront the letter writer. That was the last time anyone saw Ron alive. Hours later, his truck was found crashed into a tree on a rural road. Ron was dead from a single gunshot wound to the head, but the circumstances were suspicious. The gun had fired once. Some said it looked like an accident. Others believed Ron had been murdered. His death was officially ruled an accident, but many, including Mary, never accepted that verdict. After Ron's death, the letters continued. Some even claimed responsibility for his death. "I told you to stop," one read. "Now Ron's gone." Imagine the horror, losing your husband in a mysterious accident, then receiving a letter taunting you about it. The local sheriff, Dwight Radcliffe, tried to investigate. He examined the letters, the envelopes, the typewritten and handwritten notes, but found no definitive clues. He couldn't determine the source, and the letters kept coming. Some residents speculated the letter writer had law enforcement connections. How else could they know so many details? Years passed, and the town was still living in fear. Then, in 1983, a possible breakthrough. Paul Freshour, Ron Gillespie's brother-in-law, was arrested and charged with attempted murder. Here's how it happened. One day, Mary was driving her bus route when she saw something unusual, a sign on a fence with another threat written on it. She stopped the bus to remove the sign and found a small box attached to the fence. Inside was a crude booby trap, a pistol rigged to fire if someone pulled the sign. It didn't go off, but police traced the gun to Paul Freshour. Freshour insisted he was innocent. He said the gun had been stolen from his garage weeks earlier, but with no other suspects, he was charged and eventually convicted, not of murder, but of attempted murder. He was sentenced to 7 to 25 years in prison. You'd think that would end the letters, but here's where it gets even stranger. While Paul was in prison, letters continued to arrive in Circleville. Some were even sent to him in prison, taunting him. "You can't escape me," one letter said. "I'm always watching." Prison officials insisted that Paul had no way to send mail. He was in solitary confinement and had no writing materials. Yet the letters kept coming. Was Paul innocent? Did he have an accomplice? Or had he been framed? Some residents believed Paul was guilty and that he'd somehow found a way to smuggle letters out. Others argued that the letters' timing and content suggested a different writer altogether. Maybe someone with a grudge against Mary or the town itself. Investigators re-examined the letters in the booby trap. The handwriting analysis was inconclusive. Experts disagreed on whether Paul's writing matched the letters. The postmark suggested some letters came from Columbus, Ohio, an hour's drive away. Could someone have mailed them from different locations to cover their tracks? The mystery only deepened with time. Some believed the letter writer was a master manipulator, someone who thrived on the chaos they created. Others suspected a conspiracy. Maybe more than one person was involved, maybe even someone in law enforcement. After Paul's release in 1994, he maintained his innocence. He gave interviews, appeared on TV shows, and continued to insist he had been framed. He died in 2012, still insisting he had nothing to do with the letters. The identity of the Circleville letter writer remains a mystery to this day. No one knows who they were, why they targeted Mary, or how they seemed to know so much about the lives of Circleville residents. Some locals believe the writer simply stopped. Maybe they died or moved away. Others think the writer is still out there, watching, waiting. The case continues to fascinate true crime enthusiasts, psychologists, and armchair detectives who wonder how a small town could be so thoroughly terrorized by words on a page. The Circleville letters remind us that sometimes the most powerful weapon is fear itself, a fear that can tear apart families, friendships, and communities. In Circleville, that fear lasted decades, leaving scars that never fully healed. As we close this chapter, remember the families who lived through the nightmare and the community that still wonders if the writer ever walked among them, watching, waiting, and writing. Thank you for joining us on this journey into the shadows of Circleville, Ohio. If you enjoyed this deep dive into true crime, please subscribe, hit the like button, and share your thoughts in the comments below. And if you have any information about this case, no matter how small, contact the Circleville Police Department. After all these years, the town still seeks answers, and justice may still be out there. Stay safe, stay curious, and we'll see you next time.